50 seconds. Here we go. 45 seconds. So, hello everyone. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're ready to learn some English. This is one of my first pronunciation focused lessons. So we'll see how many times I say the words that I'm going to be talking about today so that you have some good examples of what's happening. So we'll start in about 20 seconds. It sounds like everything is working well. Did you see how quickly I grabbed the earbuds with my left hand? Everything's starting, it still hurts, but it's starting with my left hand. But everything is starting to feel quite a bit better. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Well, hello and welcome to this English lesson about words that almost sound the same, like man and men, and there's a bunch of other ones. And in English, these are sometimes called minimal pairs. They're words where they have one letter difference, and the meaning is probably different or completely different. And it is hard for people learning English to learn how to say them. And sometimes when they hear these words, they're not sure which word is being said. So we'll go through about 50 of these, I think. So welcome to this English lesson about minimal pairs, this English lesson about words that almost sound the same. Almost. Well, hey, how's everybody doing? Hi to Ishmael, Paco-san, Lolly Lolly, Bridget, Hitai, Mikmos, Cat Diary, Mode Eggs is here, Etienne, Judith, Freddie Wolf, Key Park, Hitai, Charlotte, so many familiar faces. Unsel is here as well. Sorry I wasn't chatty before the live stream started. I was a little bit busy doing some Friday morning stuff, but I am here now. It's good to see all of you, and it'll be fun to do this lesson. What is this lesson based on? The other day, Jen and I were talking, and we were using can and can't. Like, I can do that, I can't do that. And I realized that it was hard for me to understand which word was being said. Oftentimes with can and can't, it ends up being in context. So, and the other thing was I've always been interested in learning a bit more about what's called IPA pronunciation. So the International Phonetic Alphabet. I think I've got all of the usages right today. We'll see when we start the lesson. You might find a mistake. Mode says it's worth noting that man and men are most confusing in North American English because in British English, the A sound is quite different. Oh, it could be like man and men, man. I could be. But yes, for us, man and men can be hard, but we'll get to that. Key Park says Bob's voice sounds a little magnetic. Let's check what it sounds like. Yeah, I think things are working right. That's just how my voice sounds today. So we'll just have to live with it for about an hour. If you're new here, this is a live English lesson. Like, hello, Cat Diary, Kevin Comp, Irma. This is live. This is happening. If it is 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, this is happening live. So welcome. And you are able to watch this later on replay as well. If you are new here as well, please use the chat to have fun English conversations with each other. You can also ask questions. Please try to make sure the question is about the topic. I like it when the questions are on topic. And enjoy yourself. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. I do want to give a shout out once again to Preply for sponsoring many things this week. There is a link in the description below. If you use that link, you'll get 50% off your first Preply lesson. Preply is a place where you can find an English speaking partner who will help you improve your English. Well, let me see. I think I've done everything right. I think we should start the lesson. What do you think, everybody? Should we do it? Here we go. Ship and sheep. So I tried to create slides where you have both words and a good image so that you can understand the meaning. Now, these are simple words, ship and sheep. A ship goes on the ocean. Sheep go in the pasture. But I think it's important to understand and hear what I'm saying. Ship has a short vowel. Ship, it's a very fast word, whereas sheep has a very long vowel. In fact, you wouldn't be able to say ship the same way like ship. I guess you could, but ship and sheep. A ship is huge. A ship goes on the ocean. In fact, we also use this as a verb. When I buy something from Amazon, they will ship it to me. It doesn't go on a boat. It just goes in someone's car or van. But a ship is a large boat. The verb to ship means to send something somewhere. And of course, a sheep is simply an animal. So you can see in this field, there are several sheep. The sheep are on pasture because they like to eat grass. So once again, ship and sheep. Whenever I say the two words in this lesson, I'll always start with the word that's furthest that way and then end with the word that's closest to me. Fan and van. Should I say that a little more slowly? Fan and van. To me, these words sound very, very similar. Fan and van rhyme. The only difference is how they start. Of course, a fan is something that blows air on you when you're hot, and a van is something that you drive. And if you have lots of kids, you need a van so you can fit them all in. Let me say both words a little more slowly. Fan, fan, and then now the second word, van, van. You can hear when I say van, there's like a vibrating sound. As I said, vibrating, you heard it as well. Whereas with fan, it's more of just the sound of air. So a fan blows air and a van is something that you drive around. Let me say both of them at normal speed. I don't have a fan right now because Jen borrowed it. And so I'm getting warm, and our van has to go to the garage for an oil change next week. Man and men. This is a common one. Many English learners who are learning North American English complain that these sound very similar, especially when we speak quickly. You can see that when there is only one male, it is a man. When there is more than one, we say men. So again, the vowel sound changes, obviously from an A to an E, but when we speak quickly, you can have trouble understanding. And sometimes you just have to use context. Like if I say there was one man at the concert, or if I say there were a lot of men at the concert, you can, because of the other words I'm using, you can determine which of the words I'm using. But I will agree that man and men, when you say it very quickly, do sound very similar. Fit and feet. So depending on your native language, there may be certain sounds that are difficult for you. That lady who is out hiking and who has stopped to have a coffee is very fit. This means she's not overweight. She probably has lots of muscle. She is very fit. My goal is to always walk a lot so I can be really fit. When you're fit, you're healthy, you're in shape. Feet, of course, are those things at the end of your legs. Those are your feet. So for some of you, depending on your native language, these may sound completely different and might be very easy to say. The woman is very fit. I have to put socks on my feet. But for some of you, they might sound very similar and might be hard to say. So once again, the two words are fit and feet. Bit and beat. So this is basically the same thing, but with a different consonant at the front. So sometimes at night, a mosquito will land on me, and it's not nice when the mosquito decides to bite me. So I don't like getting bit. That's how we would use that word. The mosquito bit me. Not fun. If you play the drums, you will have the job in the band is to make the beat. So I'm not a drummer, but I can make like the drummer face, like. So when you play the drums, you want to have a beat. So once again, the first word, bit, the mosquito bit me. The drummer is setting a good beat while he plays this song. Live and leave. If you have a house or an apartment, that's where you live. If you decide to go somewhere else, you leave. So right now I live in Ontario, Canada. You live in your country. I used to live in the town close to me about 30 years ago, but Jen and I decided to leave that town so that we could come and live here on the farm. So again, these might sound very distinct and might be very easy for you, but depending on your native language, they might be a challenge. So, where do you live? I live in Canada. Where did you used to live? I used to live in France, but I decided to leave. Can and can't. So this is the one that inspired the lesson. When you can do something, it means you're able to do it. When you can't do something, it means you're unable to do it. The problem with this is when we speak quickly in informal English, we kind of blend our words together. So if I say, I can do that tomorrow, or I can't do that tomorrow, I kind of overemphasize the can't. Like, I can do it tomorrow, I can't do it tomorrow. You really have to listen for the T. And then another thing would be this. I might say, oh, I can do that tomorrow. Or I might say, I can't do that tomorrow. So you sometimes need to watch the body language in order to understand what exactly is being said. So can and can't. So I can do it, I can't do it. And then, if you look at can, it says schwa vowel in fast speech. So if you don't know what schwa is, it's when, my description is always like the vowel just kind of shows up. Like, it's not stressed, it's not emphasized. Like, I can do it. So I can do it, or I can do it. In the second instance, I'm really mushing the vowel sound together. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Pull and pull. So if you have a rope and you're doing what this guy does, you have decided to pull on the rope. Okay, you're going to pull. Maybe, let me see, when do you pull on a rope? You will more likely pull on a leash. If you were walking a dog and you want to go a different direction, you might pull the dog leash. If it's hot, if you're experiencing a heat wave like we are right now, you might wish that you had a pool, a beautiful place to swim to cool off. So pull and pool. Let me say them one more time. He's going to pull the leash. He's going to go swimming in a pool. Pool. So you notice the long vowel sound with pool. Hey, let's do some questions. Let's see. I'm just reading some of the chat for a sec. I always like to see what people are saying. People are mostly just saying hello. Judith says, I have a small fan, but I wish I had a small van. Very cool. It's hard for me when doing this lesson to not overpronounce the words. Like, I'm trying to speak my normal speed, but it's a little bit tricky. From Judith. Hi, Bob. Do you know a minimal pair relating to wild animals? Thank you. Have a great day. I don't. I would have to think about that for a while. Definitely not crocodile and alligator. Those are very different. But I would have to think about it. And then from Judith again. Hi, Bob. How many minimal pairs do you know in the English language? Drink a gulp of water, please, to have a great day. I will do that. There's a lot, but honestly, when I was researching this lesson, I was looking at lists and thinking some of these are very distinct and not ones I would put on this list. Like, you could, if you were learning English, you could figure out a lot of these pretty easy. From Zeravan, what's the difference between the IELTS and TOEFL? I don't know if that's how you pronounce those test names, by the way. I always call it the IELTS and I call it the TOEFL. What is the difference? It really depends on why you're taking it and what that place is expecting. If you're going to universities in one country, they might ask for the IELTS. Whereas if you're applying to go to a university somewhere else, they might require the TOEFL. In terms of a test, I think there are slight differences, but generally they're going to test you on reading, writing, listening, and speaking, reading comprehension, your listening comprehension, your ability to speak in English, and your ability to write. It will have those 4 components. So what's the difference? I think they're fairly similar. They probably emphasize one part a little more than another. From Ismail, hi Bob, help me settle this once and for all. How do you say literally yourself with your Canadian accent? So I'm definitely literally. So I think the T becomes a D, right? Like I flap it. Literally. Let me type it in the chat how I say it. I say it like this. Literally. There. That's my Bob the Canadian pronunciation guide. Literally. So, and we say it really quickly. Like I literally say it that fast. Literally. That's how fast I say it. So I don't think any of your pronunciations, literally. Do I say it wrong? I don't really say it wrong, do I? Literally. Yeah, that's how I say it. Literally. Hey, I think that's it for questions. I'm going to check the chat though. Yes, exactly. I think a lot of people get can and can't wrong because they try to focus on the visual difference, the T. But the reality is the stop T is really hard to detect in fast speech. Yeah, it is. Very much. Can and can't. I think the key to telling the difference is the vowel sound, and that's probably what native speakers use, but don't realize it because it's habitual. Yeah, there were a lot of times when I was researching this lesson where I would say the word so many times, it started to sound weird because as a native speaker, you don't think about the sounds you're making. It's subconscious, right? It's habitual. So yes, definitely. Let me see if there's another question. No, let's get back to the lesson then. That's a good thing. Let me just go back in the chat. Brent says, oh, hi, Brent. Good to see you. I wish I had a pool. It's pretty hot today. Luckily, my brother has one. Yeah, but it's a bit of a walk. 5 minutes, but on a hot day, that's a bit of a walk. Okay, hey, if you're one of the 188 people watching, don't forget to click that red subscribe button and become a subscriber of the channel. It's free, and you will get free stuff. Well, an extra lesson every week, your name in green, and a few other items. From Minusmill, good morning, Bob. What is the difference between chat and shot? So the difference is both the vowel sound and how the word starts. So if I see my sister, I might chat with my sister, okay? Chat. I might chat with my sister. Hey, good to see you. Let's chat for a bit. Trying to think of how to use shot without talking about firearms, but I guess that's the only way to do it. He went to the firing range and shot his gun. So shot. So it's kind of hard to see, but chat is very hard, right? Chat. Whereas shot is like it's an S sound, but you add the like it's not it's more shot. So hopefully that helps a bit. I'm trying to describe the difference between like say, it's like a whistling S, say, and then shot is more like shot. There we go. Okay, enough of that, Bob. Let's get back to the lesson. Unless there's one more question. Here we go. Hi, Bob. Do you know two words which sound or look like a minimal pair, but they are not? Thank you. I don't. There were a few, though, on the lesson, on some of the lists where I thought they didn't seem that different to me. Probably the most common one that I didn't put on the list, though, is beach and bitch. I didn't put it on there because bitch is kind of considered a bad word in English. But on a hot day, you might go to the beach because you want to go in the water. And don't ever say this, but a very negative, insulting term for a woman can be the word bitch. It's very demeaning. It's very derogatory. Do not ever use that word. But some English learners will say, I want to go to the bitch today. And that's wrong. It's beach. Just think bee. I always say this, a bee buzzes, right? Like a bee. And then when you go to the place that's sandy on the water, you go to the beach. There you go. Yeah, I don't mind talking about that in this part because it won't end up in the other part of the lesson. That's a bonus of being here for the live lesson. Let's see. Bring a snack for my walk. I hope you don't melt in the heat. We're in a heat wave here again. It's over 30 degrees for the next 5 days. Brent says, whoa, language, Bob. Haha. Yeah, I feel like that is the most common one for English learners. I've heard it many times where you're like, "Ooh, that's not how you say that." So, okay, let's get back to the lesson. Here we go. There we go. Cup and cop. I found the picture that had my cup in it. I think maybe my cup's not in there. It's kind of, maybe the colors are off. This is the standard IKEA cup. If you have little kids and you go to IKEA, this is the cup you buy, the little plastic cup. A long time ago, they had this style of cup. I have two here today. But a cup, of course, is anything like this that holds something you can drink. A cup, very fast, short vowel, cup. If you drive too fast, though, you might get pulled over by a cop. So notice the difference. You drink from a cup, you get pulled over by a cop. I haven't been pulled over by a cop for a year and a half. I think I talked about that. I got a ticket a year and a half ago for speeding, and which is odd because I'm not someone who normally drives fast. But you drink from a cup, you get arrested by a cop. Bed and bad. So when you're tired, you go to bed. You go to bed so that you can sleep. Sleeping is a wonderful thing. It's bad if you don't get a good night's sleep. So you sleep in a bed, and it's bad if you don't sleep well, and you feel bad the next day. You don't feel good. So anyways, you can also use bad as the opposite of good. Cap and cab. So the only real difference here is how the word ends. So we say cap. I went to a Blue Jays game the other day. I don't think my baseball cap is in here. And I wore my baseball cap. I can see how when we speak quickly, like I wore my baseball cap to the baseball game, the P at the end of cap does soften a bit. Like I wore my cap to the game, but it is there. I am hitting it with my like cap. But cab is a slightly different sound. You can take a taxi cab if you are in the city. You can get a cab to go somewhere. Thankfully now, most of you just use Ubers. So if you're not sure how to say cab, you can just get an Uber. But you wear a cap on your head. You take a cab if you want to go somewhere. Three and tree. This comes from, there are some people when they are learning English where the TH sound is very difficult. So three and tree, you have to look at what my mouth is doing. It's kind of weird, but you're going to see my tongue three when I say three. 1, 2, 3. It's going to be right there. 3. When I say tree, you don't see my tongue. Sorry, microphone. So there are some nice trees on our property. There's more than 3. There's definitely more than 3. Word and world. This is also difficult to pronounce because for some people, when you cluster consonants together, it's hard to get the sounds out. So word might be fairly easy for you to say. Word. But world, we've put an R and an L and a D beside each other with no vowel in between them. So it becomes a little more challenging. Scrabble is a game where you make words. You decide, I'm going to make the word plan and get some points. Words are what we use when we talk to each other. The world is the planet we live on. You all live somewhere in the world. And honestly, the more I say the word world, see, I just use them both in the same sentence. The more I say the word world, the weirder it sounds. World. And world. There's a lot of movement in my mouth at the end of world. World. Because you're making the RLD. It's like your tongue. Your tongue's like a wave. World. It goes like this in my mouth. I'm not going to show you. This isn't about Bob shows you what his tongue looks like while he's doing pronunciation lessons. Walk and work. So walk is interesting because you don't really need the L. You can go for a walk with your friends. I like to go for a walk every day. I like to go to work. in the fall and usually in the winter and not so much in the spring. I get tired of work as the school year goes on, but sometimes you're excited to go outside to go for a walk. Sometimes you're excited to go to work because you like your job and you like to make money. Luck and look. So I put happen to you. Maybe you bought a lottery ticket and you won because you have good luck. Maybe you're going somewhere and someone just says, good luck. That's a common thing to say. But right now, I'm going to look into the camera. Sorry, I looked away. But look, I can look into camera and I can wish you good luck. I'm not sure in your country or culture whether a 4-leaf clover is supposed to bring good luck. But here in Canada, I think it's from the Irish. If you can find a 4-leaf clover, it's supposed to be good luck. Sometimes I go outside 4-leaf clovers so that I will have good luck. Cheap and Jeep. These might sound very similar to you. They might not. But cheap starts the same way as cheese, like you can eat cheese. But cheap means that something is not expensive. It's always nice to find something that is cheap in a store. A Jeep is a vehicle that is made by the Jeep car company, which I think is owned by Dodge Chrysler now. Everybody's owned by everybody now, but a Jeep is a 4-wheel vehicle, 4-wheel drive vehicle that you can use to go off-roading. So if you like Jeeps, you probably want to find a cheap Jeep so that you don't have to pay a lot of money for it. But unfortunately, it's hard to find a cheap Jeep because Jeeps are usually quite expensive. You want me to say that again? Cheap Jeep. He's looking for a cheap Jeep because he wants to go off-roading. I hope he finds a cheap Jeep. That's the funnest one so far, by the way. Wet and vet. So this comes from if you have trouble distinguishing between the W and the V sound. That dog is wet, so he had to go to the vet. Vet is short for veterinarian, a doctor, for lack of a better word, that takes care of animals. We have 2 dogs. Walter, our black dog, likes to go swimming in the river, and sometimes he's wet. And then he runs up and he shakes all the water off after he goes swimming and he gets wet. Walter is also the dog that gets injured the most and has been to the vet many times because he's an expensive dog. He runs into things. Oscar does not like to get wet. And Oscar only goes... We'll pause for a moment. Okay. I think we had a little glitch there. Little glitch there. Sorry. I think we're live again. I think it's all working. That was weird. I just got... let me put a marker point in here so I can edit this later. I did just get faster internet, but it decided to crash on me. So I think it's working again. If you could let me know in the chat if everything is working well, and then we will continue the lesson in a moment. Some of you are probably seeing a spinning little thing there. Yeah, new internet equals sadness. John Wedge says it's working now. Let's see here. All is working, says Freddie Wolf. It looks to me like everything's working. Oh yeah, Brett's like, if you were a member, you would have seen Bob's video about the new internet. Become a member today. Yeah, there was a little glitch. Someone might have jinxed your fast internet by talking too much about it, possibly. Okay, let's get back to the lesson though. I think we are good. At least the recording is good. Face and phase. So we're going to talk here a little bit about what's called a diphthong. So a diphthong is when you sort of convert one vowel into another vowel as you say the word. So if you look, this is a person and we see her face. This is the moon, and there are different phases of the moon. The current moon phase in this picture is full moon. So let me explain what's happening here. Face it starts almost like an A and flips a little bit to an E. Face, face, face. It's kind of weird. Phase is very similar, but the F and the S, I'm trying to explain. It's the C and the S, so I'm getting this wrong. So face, this is my face. You can see my face. When the live stream stops working, you can't see my face. When you look at the moon, you think, what phase is the moon in? So face and phase. So little difference on how that ends. But yeah, the vowel sort of transitions. Let me give you the formal definition. A diphthong is a sound formed by the combination of two vowels into a single syllable in which the sound begins as one vowel and moves towards the other. So an example is face. So when I say it quickly, you can't quite hear it, but it is there. It's like fe and s, face, face. That's how it becomes. And phase, just more of a Z sound at the end when you are saying it. There you go. Pen and pan. You would use a pen to write. You would use a pan to fry an egg. Pen obviously rhymes with men. Pan rhymes with man. So again, this is another thing where context works. If someone said, I need a pen, I want to fry an egg, that doesn't make sense. So they must have said pan. If someone says, do you have a pan? I want to write a letter to my sister. That doesn't make sense. You would use a pen to write a letter. You would use a pan to fry an egg. So pen and pan. Okay, we're going to do members only questions. Let me get that set up. I'm glad the live stream, after it crashed, just resumed. That was really nice. I was glad because sometimes the live stream crashes and then it doesn't resume, and that's not fun. Okay, what was I going to do? Questions from the forum. There's a few here. And members, if you are a member, you are able to ask questions directly in the chat and I will answer them. And I should just relax a little bit, right? Like if you're asking, if you were to say, how is Bob feeling right now? This is how Bob is feeling. I just got faster internet and the first live stream I did, it crashed. I'm a little bit annoyed, but it did start working again. So what can we say? Anyways, lolly lolly. You're not allowed to speak aloud in the library. Aloud and allowed, same pronunciation. Merci, Bob. Yes, definitely. You are not permitted. You are not allowed. You are not supposed to talk in a library. You're not allowed to do that. ALLOWED. When I speak aloud. Okay, I don't talk quietly to myself in my head. I speak aloud. Let's do one more and then we'll get to the chat. Mino Smil. It's me again. What about roll and roll? They are the same. So you can roll a ball down the hill and your role at work might be that you're a manager. So roll is when something goes like this, and roll can be used to describe the job that you do. From the chat, Wanda Prado, hi Teacher Bob, could you please pronounce farther and further? So farther and further. I usually tell people farther sounds like father, farther, farther. Not really, I guess, but it's a good way to enter into the pronunciation. Farther, farther, farther. And then further. Further is more of that U sound, right? Further. And we don't use these properly in English. There is a way to use them properly, but I have to drive further. I have to drive farther. One of those is incorrect, and we use both of them all the time in informal English. Hey, Bob, as usual, what are your plans for today and the weekend? Do you have anything special on your list? Thanks a lot, Bob. I'm going to visit my mom. That's my plan. Since I injured myself, I haven't actually visited my mom very much. In 7 weeks, I've only seen my mom twice, and she just lives like 30 minutes away. So that's silly. So I'm going to stop by and visit her today and have tea. What else? Physiotherapy this weekend. Nothing else much, I think. Jen and I have been spending, if you watch Jen's videos, we've been spending a lot of time fixing and improving our irrigation setup because we are in a drought. So it's extremely hot here and extremely dry. And so we've been like, we refilled our pond from the river. We adjusted how, those of you that know about water flow, we adjusted things to get more water to the field better. So, okay. From Mode, Brent, do you say egg, bag, and leg the same way Bob does? Some Americans, I think, say egg. I say egg, bag, leg. But some people say leg. Not common here, though. I think we do. We say most things in a similar way. No, that says, may I ask how long or how far you can walk in the meantime before it starts becoming uncomfortable or it starts to hurt? It depends on the day. Like, I can walk about half an hour most days, slowly. But yeah, there's days where I wake up and my leg just hurts. It's kind of annoying. Mode, Bob sounded Australian all of a sudden with farther, further, farther, further. Yeah. John Wedge, hi, Bob. I love learning about English sounds and accents since I'm at work and have a lot to do. Today, I'll probably watch it in sections. No questions today. I'll watch the full video later. Well, thank you for doing that. What's even more interesting about man, men is that sometimes when man is part of a compound noun, it becomes unstressed and sounds exactly like men in fast spoken English. Yes. Fisherman, fireman, yes. Salesman, but that's not always the case. Superman, businessman. Yeah, that's true. Because you wouldn't say, I don't like saying things wrong, but you wouldn't say fisherman. It's fisherman. He's a fisherman. He's a fireman. Yeah. Freddie, Bob, I also think too, aisle, a bow, to produce and produce or produce. There's a bunch of ways to say that one. Foot, food, full, fool. I think I have full and fool. Too close, being close, to contract a contract. Yes. I've had to be content, and content. Yes. Yeah, I should do another lesson. Those are some good ones. Key Park says, mommy and mummy, hard to distinguish. Yes. Mommy and mummy. We just go with mum. It's my mom. I'm going to go visit my mom today. That's different than American English, by the way, if you're looking for differences. They would say mom. We say mum. We say mom sometimes, like, how's your mom doing? But generally it's mom. How's your mom doing? Ismail, which one sounds more conversational, Bob? Whatever happened to the flower wagon by the road? I haven't seen it in a while, or I haven't seen it for a while. Both work. Yes, but we don't have the flower wagon by the road anymore because we sell most of our flowers. We just don't have enough flowers for that. So, also sales dropped off after the pandemic. It was very popular during the pandemic when people couldn't go anywhere. Yeah, so I haven't seen it in a while. I haven't seen it for a while. We say both. And again, one's probably more correct than the other, but in informal English, you would hear both. No, that says, regarding your absolutely great lesson on Tuesday, Bob, were you actually there on Monday to record the video, or did you do it on Saturday? And thank you again for doing this little trip for us. So first of all, let me say this. I want to thank Preply for sponsoring that video. Preply has been a great partner for my channel. And if you are interested in finding someone to help you improve your English, there's a link below this video as well for Preply. Preply is a place where you can kind of, if you're preparing for an English test, you can find a tutor. If you're going on a vacation to an English speaking country, you can find a tutor. So link in the description below, visit that, and 50% off your first lesson. It's awesome. Anyways, back to Know That. Yes, I went out on the weekend to do that. I was there Saturday. I went back to shoot a couple things again. So I messed up a little bit. That's okay though. Yeah, that was a fun lesson to do. For those of you that don't know, I did a lesson on travel and tourism, and I did it in Niagara Falls. It's a lesson actually that I did a long time ago, but the last time I did it was during the pandemic, and there weren't very many people in Niagara Falls. So, excuse me, I'm going to have to listen to that one on the live stream. I don't know. Sneeze and snooze. Is that the pair we're looking at? Yeah, there we go. Just made myself laugh. I did that lesson, almost all the same words during the pandemic, and I just really wanted to do it again when Niagara Falls was busy. Lolly says, I see a bear with a beard drinking a I think that's bear at the end again, Lolly. I think you got the wrong word there. You need another E in the last word. You got to take out the A. Then it would be good. Minusmill says, this is a very useful topic. What about rain, rain, rain? All the same. I get it. Thanks a lot. Freddie Wolf. Actually, Bob, since we are July 25th, we surely can wish you a belated birthday, can't we? Did you ask your family to remind you the right date? I don't know if I'm feeling any older right now or not, but I do want to thank a few people. I got a few in comments and stuff like that, a few happy birthdays. So thank you for all the birthday wishes. A few of you reached out via the comments or other ways. So at the sweat, there we go. Bless you. Thank you, Mode. Okay. Should we get back to let me check. I'm going to do one more question here. Oh, it's from Unsel. This is a good one. That's not the right button. That's the right button. Hi, Mr. Bob. How are you doing? Sometimes I can't really hear the difference between of and off. Is there an easy way to tell them apart? Thanks a lot. Bye. Yeah, that's a good one. Like, I think it's just context, right? Like, it's a part of the town. Of, get off the bicycle. I'm a cop and you're under arrest. So off and of, yeah. One's the V sound, right? Of, O-F, but it's actually like of, and then off is definitely the F sound. From Muhammad. Hi, Bob. This is animal minimal pair, fox and ox. The fox outsmarted the ox. Yeah. If you under stress the F, right? The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dogs. The quick brown fox jumped. Sometimes we're a little bit too subtle and you might not hear it. Okay. From know that, and then we'll move on. Hi, hello, Bob. No form question today, but I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you again for everything you do for us. So thank you very much, Bob. You're awesome. You're welcome. Know that. I've gotten a lot of appreciation this month from people, from Know That, from Mo to Eggs, and many of the regulars. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being supportive, especially through June when I wasn't really producing much content. You can tell right now I feel much better. Like, watch this. Here, I'll show you something that I couldn't do. Like, so I have my earbuds here. You ready? I'm just going to stick them in my ear. Like a week ago even, I would have to be really gentle with this because my collarbone is healing a little more slowly than I was expecting. But Mode says it becomes even harder with off of. I have to get off of the bus. When the bus stops, I have to get off of the bus. How fast do I say that? I need to get off of the bus. You probably hardly even hear it, right? I have to get off of the bus. I have to get off of the bus. I think it becomes off of the bus, right? We kind of mush everything together like we normally do in English. Hey, I'm going to turn off members only chat and we are going to finish this lesson off. Here we go. I'm going to have a sip of water. I am going to talk about Preply one more time. So there's a link in the description below to Preply. Many of you have been watching my videos for a long time. And I would guess that many of you are really good at reading English, listening to English, maybe pretty good at writing English, but maybe haven't practiced your speaking. It's the hardest thing to practice. Whenever people ask me, how do I improve my English speaking? I always say you need an English speaking partner. And right now, if you use the link in the description below, it's at the very top of the description to Preply. You can find someone for a reasonable amount of money who will help you by having English conversations with you. I just think it's a good thing to do. And even if you're not ready to take that step, at least go have a look. Go have a look at what's available and kind of browse the tutors that are there and decide whether you're ready to take that step. So that's Preply, link in the description below. 50% off your first lesson if you use that link. Or code Bob50, I think, as well works. Anyways, where are we? We are doing a lesson. Here we go. Duck and dog. So there are birds that live in the water and they're called ducks. So you might see a duck fly by. And obviously the word duck ends very hard with that K sound, a duck. Okay, it rhymes with Not going to say it. There's a swear word that rhymes with duck. Not going to say it. Dog is, of course, a pet. Some people like dogs. Some people like cats. We have 2 dogs. Our one dog is named Oscar. Our other dog is named Walter. So if you are by a pond, you might see a duck. When you go for a walk in the park, you might see someone who is walking their dog. Sink and think. Again, this is for people who have trouble with the TH sound. So when I do the dishes in the sink. At school, before I eat lunch, I'll wash my hands at the sink because I want my hands clean before I eat. So a sink is a place where water comes out and it has a drain in the bottom. You can wash dishes, you can wash your hands, etc. When you are trying to figure something out, you need to think. You need to sit and think about it. When I made this lesson yesterday, I had to think about what words am I going to put in the lesson. So again, you wash your hands at the sink. When you are trying to figure something out, you need to think. Again, you do see the tongue with the TH sound. Think. I think it's a good idea to watch my mouth, as awkward as that is, when I say some of these words. Sink and think. It can really help to just physically form the mouth correctly. Cot and cut. Now, cot might not be familiar to you. A cot is a type of bed that you can set up temporarily to sleep on. Maybe when you go camping, you set up a cot in your tent, and it's pronounced the same way as the word caught. You know, if you played Pokemon, maybe you went to the park, Pokemon Go, and you caught some Pokemon in the park. So that's the verb to catch. Caught, like he caught them. But a cot, like in the picture, is something you sleep on. Cut is what you do with a scissors. You will cut the piece of paper. So cot, something to sleep on, and cut, when you make something in more than one piece with a scissors or a knife. Full and fool. That bucket is full. That guy is a fool. So full. So when something is empty, there's nothing in it. When it's filled to the brim, we would say it is full. Full. It's kind of like, it's described as a full rounded sound. Full, full. But fool is more like zoo, ooh, ooh. So that's the difference there. Fool. That's not how I say it in everyday life, but this is a minor insult. Usually we use it to describe ourselves. Like, I couldn't find my car keys, and then I realized they were in my pocket. I'm such a fool. I'm such a fool. Or with the other one, full, I ate so much food that I'm full. Like, I'm full. I'm such a fool. I ate too much food again, and now I'm full. There's a sentence with both words in it. Ankle and uncle. To me, these are not a minimal pair, but these were on several lists as I was researching. Your ankle, of course, is the part of the body where your leg joins your foot. It's that bottom piece there, the heel at the bottom, and then right there is your ankle. Ankle, ankle. Did I talk about schwa already? I think I did. It's when the E is, or the not just the E, but the vowel is super shortened, right? So ankle. An uncle is basically the brother of your father or the brother of your mother. So if you have an uncle, he's probably cool. For some reason in the world, uncles are usually really cool. But you can play a sport and you could twist your ankle, and then your ankle will be sore. And then you can maybe go and visit your uncle. So here's a funny story. I broke my collarbone, and the other day my uncle came to visit me. So I didn't hurt my ankle, but my uncle did come to visit me. And they end the same way. Classic one, beard and beer. So of course, a beard is the hair that you grow on this part of your face. This is a mustache. This is a beard. This guy is growing a better beard than I can grow. I am overpronouncing it a little bit because I want you to hear the D, beard. Does he have a beard? Yes, he grew a beard. When we speak quickly, though, you might not quite hear the D at the end. Sometimes we forget to pronounce it a little bit. Beer is, of course, made from barley and hops, and it is an alcoholic beverage that people will drink. So the guy with the beard is drinking a beer. There's your sentence. The guy with the beard is drinking a beer. Yeah, that D at the end is not always there. And then an R colored vowel just means beer, like the vowel is transitioning into the R sound as I say it. Beard, 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 and beer. Shirt and short. So to me, these are very distinct, but again, this was on a lot of lists. I am wearing a shirt. I am not short, but I'm not tall. So obviously this is a shirt, and short is used to describe someone who is not as tall as other people. I'm actually average height for where I live in North America. So I'm not short, but I'm not tall, but I am wearing a shirt. Dad and dead. To me, these are very distinct. The more I said them though, it's a very slight difference. So a dad is, of course, a man who has had children. He's a dad. I'm a dad. I have 5 kids. I'm a dad. Sometimes though, my phone goes dead. When your phone is dead, it means your phone isn't working anymore. So it's not nice when your phone goes dead. As a dad, my phone has to work all the time just in case my children need to text me. So dad and dead. Sue and Zoo. So Sue is a name, a woman's name, but it's also a verb which means to take legal action against someone. If someone was in a car accident, they might sue the other party. They might go to court and sue them to try and get money. A zoo is, of course, a place where there are animals. So again, Sue, like her name is Sue, or he's going to sue his neighbor, or we went to the zoo to see animals. So like the whistly S sound, Sue, or like a vibrating Z sound, which the Americans call Z, zoo. So again, think of a bee. Buzz-zoo. Buzz. So a bee will buzz. And when you can make the z sound, you can say zoo. And then Sue. Soon Sue will be here to sue her neighbor. There you go. Oh, wrong one. I think I need this one. Yes. Rink and ring. So a rink is a place that you can go skating. You can go to an ice rink, and it rhymes with sink. So you can wash your hands in the sink and then you can go to the rink. And it is a K. You can hear the K. Ring though, like I am wearing my wedding ring. It's the same as rink, but there's no hard stop. What they mean by that is rink. It's like the word hits a wall. Rink. Like it stops. Rink. Whereas ring, it just kind of, it's a little softer. Ring, rink. Rink, ring. I don't do the little k at the end. So you can go skating at a rink. You can get married and you can then wear a wedding ring. Shoes and choose. So this comes from those of you that have trouble pronouncing the sh sound and the ch sound. So I wear shoes. Today I'm going to have to choose what to eat for breakfast. So shoes are, of course, things you put on your feet. And when you need to make a decision, you need to choose. So if you think about it, shoes, it's a softer, there's no hardness to that, right? Like shoes. But when I say choose, it's like choose, chosen, chuck, chuckle. It's a ch sound, like TCH. I don't know how it is. Ch. So I wear shoes. Sometimes I have to choose what to do. That's it. We're done the lesson. I can have a sip of water and answer some questions. Let me double check if the stream is still working. I haven't actually looked. Oh, it is. Good. There we go. Yeah, let's do some questions. Let me see what's left in the question form. From Shota Blue, hello. Japanese has only 5 vowels, so it's kind of hard for us to tell the difference, like between distraction and destruction. The question is, what about higher and higher? Thanks. I'm going to hire someone. I'm going to climb higher. We say it the same way. You would think when you climb higher. Yeah, it is exactly the same. Did they hire someone new? Yes, they hired someone new. And are we going to go higher? Yes, we're going to go higher. Yes. So a distraction is when, like I just got distracted there. There was a distraction. I was acting that out. And destruction, I'm not going to act out destruction, would be if I totally destroy something or wreck it. From Kuzo, excuse me, Teacher Bob, if 2 words have the same vowels, like cereal and cereal, they are both nouns. Does it mean I can't differentiate without context? Yeah. So cereal and cereal sound exactly the same, and you need the context. So cereal would be something that happens one after the other. And the second one, cereal, would be something you eat. So you definitely need the context to figure those 2 out for sure. Hey, we're done. Here's what you need to do. Okay. I'm going to tell you what to do. It's a great idea to wait a couple days, and then this lesson will come out and it will be shorter. I will remove all of the questions when I edit it, and it will be about 25 minutes long, and it will be all of the words I just talked about with no interruptions. It's a great idea to watch this at least one more time. If you don't have time for that, you should at least rewatch the sections that you didn't quite understand. When I put out this lesson again in a couple days, it will have subtitles if you need them. And you can take your time to kind of revisit the parts that you didn't quite understand. So that's the job I'm giving you. If you want to improve your English, whether you're watching me or some other English teacher on YouTube, you should watch things twice or at least listen to it. I just think it's great when people say, I watch the live stream and then I listen to it on Monday while I'm driving to work. I watch the live stream Friday, but then I listen to it while I'm cooking supper on Sunday afternoon. Repetition will help you learn the English language. Don't forget to hit the like button, says Mode Eggs and John Wedge. Thank you for that. I will have a new video out for you Tuesday. For those of you waiting for me to start putting videos out on my second channel, that's going to start next week. This past week, I got a Wednesdays with Bob video out, and I got out a Monday Week at a Glance for members. And I promise I will start up that second channel next week, maybe one video. I was going to try and do it this week, but it's not gonna happen. What else? Link in the description to Preply if you're looking for an excellent person to help you improve your English, especially your English conversation. Link to Preply there. You can go browse through all these wonderful teachers and tutors, find someone who charges a reasonable amount of money, and you'll get 50% off your first lesson if you use the link in the description below. So visit there. Again, at least go have a look. Go see what it's like. I think it's wonderful. I haven't mentioned this. Well, I mentioned it in the first Preply sponsorship, but I used Preply. It was great. When I was getting ready to teach French again, my French was rusty. And so I found 3 different people. I think I did 80 sessions total over a year. And it was wonderful. You meet with someone online. They're experts at correcting your pronunciation and your grammar and all those kinds of things. And you can use it to learn English or any other language. So once again, link in the description below. Thanks for being here, everybody. Bye to Lolly Lolly, Freddie Wolf, Cat Diary, Know That, Mode Eggs, Key Park, Judith, Brent. Good to see you, Brent. Ismail, Know That, John Wedge. I think I'm repeating names now. I need a sip of water. I think if I go on and on at the end, people slowly drift away. But it was good to see Judith. It was good to see Unsel. It was good to see all of you here today. I'm just scrolling back through the chat. Hite was here as well. Who else did I see? Mino Smil, Ismail. Trying to keep the name straight here. Hopefully I explained everything well today. I was a little nervous because I'm not an expert. Oh, Fatima's here as well. Lolly Lolly, bye to all of you. I'm not an expert on IPA pronunciation. Like, it's not something I've studied. So I had to kind of do a quick deep dive this week to learn about it. But yeah, should I put the link? Yeah, I'll put the link to this slideshow in the description later today, and I'll have it in the re-release on Sunday as well. So if you want to actually have the actual slides, you can copy and paste the IPA pronunciation into an IPA pronouncing website, and that will help you quite a bit. Anyways, thanks for hanging out. You guys are awesome. Bye. I'm going to sip some water, and then I'm going to hit the stop button in about 10 seconds. See ya.